How y'all doing, ladies and gentle ladies? This is TJG66 here, and I'm back after a bit of an absence, and yep, also talking about Sonic again. I was quite happy with how well received the first Sonic ranking video was, so it seemed necessary to do another video focused on another character. This time, let's take a look at Sonic's most well-known arch-nemesis, Dr Robotnik, or Eggman. I don't care, call him whatever you want. The yin to Sonic's yang, the Bowser to Sonic's Mario, if you will. Robotnik hasn't been prone to too many voice actors, but definitely enough for me to put into one in-depth ranking video organised from worst to best. Quick disclaimer before we start, like the last video, I'll only be covering the English voice actors of Robotnik / Eggman from the Sonic games, movies, and cartoons. No Japanese voice actors or YouTube impersonations, because I prefer to operate in a nice, simple format. Also, I should mention right off the bat that all of these voices are great. This is more of a process of elimination sort of ranking. But with that out of the way, let's get started. In last place, at number 7, we have Gary Chalk, who played Robotnik in Sonic Underground, a very strange Sonic series with a rather strange Robotnik voice. The menace and threat is absolutely there in Gary's performance, and he kind of gets the sillier aspects down, but the problem in my eyes is just comparing him to everyone else. Out of all of them, he stands out the most as more of a loyal right-hand man sort of character, rather than being the big bad guy. Just doesn't sound evil enough to me. It is there, but not enough to fully convince me that this is the major antagonist throughout this whole thing.
Sensors detect fast approaching object.
Radar?
Too low, sir.
Can't wait. It destroyed my force field! Nothing can be that fast! What is it? Explosives! The factory's going to blow! Lift off! Military speed! Ah!
At number 6, we have Edward Neal, who played Robotnik in the OVA movie from 1999. This one absolutely fits the Mega Drive classic sort of art style that everyone has in this film, and I believed it worked really well for the time. It's more silly than Gary's performance, but this was, in my opinion, a far less serious time for the character. I mean, come on, just look at him. The reason he's so low on the list is purely due to the fact that the voice continued to get better and better over time, making this performance age worse and worse as time goes on. And by that I mean until 2003, where Mike Pollock came in and will hopefully never, ever, ever be replaced. More on that later.
Been a long time, hasn't it? Good to see you again, Sonic. Please accept a small token of my gratitude for your coming all this way to see me.
At number 5, we have the late, great Long John Baldry, who played Robotnik in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I'll admit, he's in the middle of this list purely just for the obvious reasons, but memes aside, this embodies the absolutely absurd fun that Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog is, and is the perfect example of a character you just enjoy watching and do not question. If you take him seriously, you will dislike him, especially in the voice department. Looking at you, Dog Walker. But yeah, I can't ignore the obvious. He is up here because of the timeless masterpiece that is.
Fingers!
Change my mind, I dare you.
Snooping as usual, I see. Stop jabbering, you dingbats! I'm formulating a plan to take advantage of this unexpected turn of events.
In case you're wondering, I am counting Jim Carrey's performance as Robotnik in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, even though his voice wasn't the highlight, but mainly the performance. Yes, I know it's about voices being ranked, but come on. Well, in a live-action movie, you both have to look at the character you're playing as a whole as well as the voice, so we're just going to look at the performance as a whole. At the time of his announcement, he was a bizarre casting choice for the character, like, this guy playing this guy? I mean, just look at the lack of hair, the weight, the mustache. But Carrey definitely pulled it off. Some greatly written jokes that he delivered, an appearance that totally fits the character, and the almost Ace Ventura amount of energy that he still somehow has at nearly 60 bloody years of age. Carrey was the main highlight in the Sonic movie, and I cannot wait to see him return in the sequel, which is due out next year.
Welcome to San Francisco, Mr. Wachowski. Are you enjoying the clam chowder?
The time for talking is over! It's time to push buttons. Confidence. A fool's substitute for intelligence.
I was not expecting that.
But I was expecting not to expect something, so it doesn't count.
We're on to the top 3, starting with the late great Dean Bristow, who played Dr. Eggman in the Sonic Dreamcast era and Sonic Heroes. This was the absolute base for Mike Pollock's eventual performance to me. I think he was told to take great inspiration from this voice, and it totally fits the bright, funny, and menacing sort of character that Dr. Eggman is. This was when Sonic games began to get a little more serious, but although Eggman seems much more goofy than everyone else, he still fits and provides a nice bit of comic relief. A lot better than, say, this fat cat. It is such a shame that we lost him in early 2005, and he couldn't go on to do more roles as Robotnik, because he was absolutely excellent and took the character in a new direction whilst retaining what had been established previously.
Oh, yes! It's just as the stone tablets predicted! His strength increases every time I feed him a Chaos Emerald! With all 7 emeralds in him, he'll be invincible! And work for me! Together, we'll destroy Station Square! And on its ruins, I'll build Robotnik Land, the ultimate city, where I will rule it all! Come on, Chaos! Let's find another emerald, shall we?
At number 2, we have Jim Cummings, who played Robotnik in the Sonic Sat AM, which I have covered a fair bit on this channel. It's not coming back, I don't care what you want. This is by far the darkest and most intimidating / cool voice performance of the character. Every time he is on screen, he is an absolute threat, and he sets the tone that Sonic Sat AM was going for from the start. Having pure evil and dark elements. Don't get me wrong, he still has humour, and it works for the most part, but this performance will always stand out for going in an ambitious new direction than, say, Long John Baldry's more silly interpretation, which he's almost the complete opposite of. Not in a bad way, of course. This, in my eyes, is the standard of how Robotnik should be played, and no one can convince me otherwise. Finally, at number 1, my personal favourite Dr. Eggman / Robotnik voice of all time is Mike Pollock, and to be honest, it should be everybody else's now. It's an incredibly obvious choice. But maybe to some, I doubt it, but some can argue that he is up this high because of nostalgic reasons, as I grew up with the late 2000s and early 2010s games, but come on, he is still Eggman to this day, nearly being in the role for 2 decades. This is seriously impressive, and just shows how much of an impact he has made. This combines the threat that is needed for a villain and the comedic moments perfectly, creating a lovely balance that never really gets annoying. Well, until you get heaps and heaps of episodes of a show, but just balance yourself out of that stuff and you'll have a good time. Mike is the quintessential Dr. Eggman voice in my eyes, and honest to God, he seems like a lovely guy in real life. Mike Pollock is the first guy I think of when I think of the various voices of Dr. Eggman, and I hope he retains onto his role for as long as possible, because us Sonic fans are completely happy with that, and we don't feel a change is necessary. At least I hope so.
Brilliant success! It's just as the Gaia manuscripts foretold! The entity that was sealed within the planet has awakened! Now I just need to harness its power! Eggman Land will finally come to be! Ah, Sonic, that's a good look for you. Festive! So long, friend!
And with Mike Pollock as number 1, that wraps up today's video. Thank you ever so much for watching, I really hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to like this video, comment down below, share it with a friend, all that good stuff, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. This has been TJG66. Goodbye for now.
To the top, here I go, think I'm chosen to be the king of rock, think the people have spoken, I can hear the tick-tock.